Hi friends, and welcome! In today's video, we are going to share 4 new dinner ideas with you that we made last week. These were all very simple to make and were things we already had at hand. I'll drop the links to the originals in the description box below, and make sure to note any major changes or substitutions we made as usual. So first up, we made Boursin Pasta. We used some of the cherry tomatoes we already had at hand and some frozen shrimp we have purchased on sale a while back. So here, I'm boiling some pasta. I'm using fettuccine today, and I make sure to cook it for 2 minutes less than the box calls for. I follow the recipe and I reserve some pasta water as well. Once the pasta is drained, I drizzle some olive oil to prevent the pasta from sticking together. In the same pan, we drizzle a little bit of olive oil, and then we go in with about 3 cloves of garlic. We then add the shrimp, and we cook the shrimp about 1 minute per side. Here is where I add a little bit of black pepper and a little bit of salt to taste. Now we remove the shrimp to a plate and we deglaze the pan with a little bit of white wine. I didn't have any white wine at hand, so I ended up using 1/4 of a cup of dry vermouth. We also need 3/4 of a cup of chicken stock. Here I'm using some better than bouillon paste. I'm also adding some of the cherry tomatoes that I had in my fridge. Now we add the whole packet of Boursin cheese. I'm using the shallot and chive. And here I'm breaking it up with my spoon to help it melt into the sauce. I always like to add red pepper flakes into my sauce, so here I am adding it to taste, and I'm also adding some dry oregano. I cook this down for about 3 to 5 minutes until the sauce starts to thicken. We reduce the heat to a low and add about 1/2 cup of pasta water and some dehydrated spinach we had, as we did not have any fresh or frozen spinach today. At this point, we add our cooked fettuccine and we use the tongs to combine everything very well together. We end up adding a bit more of the dehydrated spinach and allow everything to cook for another couple of minutes. Here, we add in 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and the shrimp back in. Honestly, I would either use more lemon juice or not use any lemon juice at all. We serve this topped with some Parmesan cheese, and honestly it was very good. We both gave it about an 8 out of 10. Okay, so on this night, I'm going to be doing a Finnish salmon soup. I believe it's called Lohikeitto. It is our second time trying this, and we really enjoy it, especially during cold winter nights. So our store had some salmon trim for under $4, which is what we end up using here. We are separating the flesh of the fish from the skin first, and then I'm going to be cooking the skin with some vegetable powder to impart some more of that fish stock flavor. We are using 7 cups of water and 7 teaspoons of vegetable stock, and then adding the salmon skin into the pot as well. I'm going to let this cook for about 15 to 20 minutes while we prepare the rest of the ingredients. Another reason I love this recipe is that it does not require a lot of ingredients. Just some potatoes, carrots, onions, heavy cream, and some seasoning that we always have at hand. So here I'm peeling and cleaning some potatoes that I'm going to cube afterwards. I'm also going to use the food processor to dice some baby carrots that we had laying around in the fridge. Lastly, I was completely out of onion, but I still have some bags left over of the frozen diced onion in the freezer, so I'll be using a cup of that. Now I'm going to remove the fish skin from the stock, and I should have used a colander, but I was already committed to the tongs, so I struggled for a while with them to get the skins removed. Once the stock was free of fish skins, I added the potatoes, carrots, and the onions to the pot. I'm also adding 1/4 of a teaspoon of coriander powder and 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to cook everything for about 15 minutes or until the potatoes are ready. Once the potatoes are fork tender, I'm going to add the salmon and cook it for another 5 minutes. Last, I'm going to add a cup of heavy cream, and since we did not have any fresh dill, I'm adding about 2 teaspoons of dried dill. We think that the fresh dill is much better here than the dried dill. It was still very good, but next time we make this, I will try to get my hands on fresh dill. The original recipe calls for about 1/3 of a cup of fresh chopped dill. This was absolutely delicious and simple. Also, it makes the time, so we had plenty of leftovers. We made this recipe last year, and I was craving it again this year during the snowy weather. We would give this recipe an 8 out of 10. Today, we just really wanted to make a quick and easy meal, so we're going to make a chicken salad sandwich and some canned soup. I'm using canned chicken, and I'm adding a whole 12.5 ounces of canned chicken that I drained. I'm also adding about 2 tablespoons of mayo, a tablespoon of ranch dressing, some black pepper to taste, and dehydrated celery, as I did not have any fresh at hand, but the original recipe called for about a rib of diced celery. I also cooked about 3 strips of bacon that I used instead of the 1/2 cup of bacon bits that the recipe called for. I'm also going to be shredding the leftovers of a block of a Kobe Jack cheese that we had in the fridge. And I'm going to chop the bacon into bite-sized pieces. To our bowl with the chicken mixture, we are going to add the bacon and the cheese, as well as an additional tablespoon of ranch dressing and some more black pepper, as well as the dried celery. Of course, use fresh if you have it. We are going to mix everything really well, and now we are ready to assemble this sandwich. I toasted some bread. I'm going to spoon the chicken salad on top, and I'm going to top everything with a little bit of shredded lettuce. Lastly, I'm cutting it diagonally in half and serving it with a bowl of canned soup. To be honest, friends, this was not our favorite chicken salad sandwich. We have made several different ones throughout the years, and we probably wouldn't make this one again. We gave this a 5 out of 10. For our final meal this week, we have decided to give our balsamic chicken marinade a try. This is our first time making it, and we have yet to taste it. We thought that the balsamic chicken would go well with an Italian salad dressing. So first, I'm going to make some dried seasoning for the Italian dressing. I think I finally got the seasoning ingredients perfected to our liking. I am still, however, experimenting with the ratios for the dressing. For the dried Italian mix, I'm adding oregano, parsley, onion powder, garlic powder, basil, ground black pepper, paprika, red pepper flakes, thyme, and celery. I will write down the exact measurements in the description box below. For the balsamic chicken, we are just going to go ahead and grill it on high for about 7 minutes, flipping it halfway through the cooking. Friends, as I mentioned, we are still trying out different recipes to find our favorite Italian dressing. I will make sure to link this recipe that we used, but I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware this was not our favorite. I will also make sure to include our favorite ratios that we have been using for a zesty Italian dressing that we have been really enjoying. Now our dressing is ready and our chicken is cooked. We are going to go ahead and cut the chicken into bite-sized pieces. To a big bowl, we are going to add some store-bought salad mix. We're going to add the chicken and top it with the salad dressing that we just prepared. Then we're going to add some Parmesan cheese and some tomatoes that we had in the fridge that we just diced. The chicken was very tasty, and we plan on making some more balsamic marinades. As I mentioned, the dressing was okay, but we're still in the lookout for our favorite. So if you have one that you love, please leave it in the comments, as we would love to give it a try. We gave the salad a 6 out of 10.